Deutsche Bank today made a bold statement about Tesla's recent price cuts, claiming that the move was an attempt to gain a competitive advantage in the market and was an offensive power play. Many people in the industry may not like this, of course, and this is at least how I understood, but I'm about to quote you. However, Tesla's price cuts may indeed be a strategic move. It even calculated how much Tesla's massive price cuts will cost the company, and I'm about to tell you that. But before I tell you that, I want to say there is a bigger story happening with Tesla at Giga Texas, and I'm going to tell you that tomorrow. So Deutsche Bank said this is a bold offensive move, secures volume growth, put its traditional and EV competitors in great difficulty, and showcases Tesla's considerable pricing power and cost superiority. This could be the cut to end all cuts. That was a quote from Deutsche Bank about Tesla's price cuts. This is a bold statement by Deutsche Bank, who, like I said, even calculated how much Tesla's price cuts may cost the company. Deutsche Bank calculated that Tesla's latest pricing cuts in the United States alone could cost the electric vehicle company about $7 billion in profit. I don't know. This is at least what they say. I think the competition has tighter margins and cannot afford to cut price. They do not think like Tesla's purpose of making electric vehicles affordable. Doing so improve their process. Legacy mentality will not cut it in the fourth industrial revolution. I don't know. Do you agree with that? Referring to Tesla's price cuts, banks and analysts wrote in a note, quote, initial market reaction was to view this as a costly reactive move which will undoubtedly put considerable pressure on Tesla gross margins and earnings. Instead, we believe this likely is a bold offensive move which secures Tesla's volume growth, puts its traditional and electric vehicle competitors in great difficulty, and showcases Tesla's considerable pricing power and cost superiority. Just as importantly, this could be the cut to end all cuts, helping reset Tesla's 2023 estimates to a level where any further risk would be to the upside, and enabling investors to refocus on the considerable longer-term opportunity and next-generation platform, which will be presented at Tesla's CMD on March 1st. End of the quote. This is precisely why and where becoming the world's greatest manufacturing company is so powerful, friends. You can simply create a much more compelling value to price equation for customers. Overall, Tesla observers see this massive price cut in the United States and Canada as a very positive move by Tesla. This move is expected to immediately increase Tesla's sales. These massive price cuts should also put Tesla way ahead of its competition, as Deutsche Bank just showed that this is an offensive move toward the competition. Tesla is going to a lot of pressure on the competition, to put a lot of pressure on the competition. Tesla can afford to make smaller margins for a long time. However, Tesla's price cuts will greatly pressure GM and other electric vehicle makers in the United States, particularly GM and Volkswagen. Ford is somewhat safe until the Cybertruck comes. To me, it's like Tesla government didn't give Tesla the 7,500 credit on all cars. Tesla said we will cut the prices. A lot of you have commented under my previous report about last night's Tesla's massive price cuts in the United States and Canada by as much as 23% and have said very interesting things. I want to quote some of them. User Spiker Speed has commented under my previous coverage about Tesla's massive price cuts in the United States and Canada, writing, Tesla knows the car market is about to get slammed because of higher interest rates and surging supply of used vehicles. This is a great move, though, because it will hopefully increase sales even during an economic downturn. By the way, Tesla also cut its prices in Germany and Europe. Now, I agree, this is a smart move by Tesla, but it also may destroy used Tesla car prices, which Tesla will take a hit on. However, keep in mind that Tesla's mission is not about used car prices or how expensive they can charge, but to make as many electric vehicles as possible. By the way, if you want to see how much Tesla's prices have changed after last night's price cuts, in case you have missed it, either you see my previous video coverage on the subject where I detailed how much the changes, or visit torquenews.com to read Jeremy Johnson's article detailing the new prices and comparing them with old prices. Check our Tesla coverage there. Now, Dean McManus, a former Torque News electric vehicle and Tesla contributor, has commented writing, "This is amazing news, especially when combined with the federal subsidies until March. This puts the base Model Y at $45,500 and the Model 3 Performance at $46,500 if you qualify for the tax subsidies. This allows Tesla to actually compete on price once again compared with similar battery electric vehicles, and importantly, they are now price competitive against gas-only vehicles that dominate sales today." True Heartwood commented saying, "No idea what this will do to Tesla, but I'm super stoked to see electric vehicles coming down to purchase price parity with gas cars, and that the Model Y won't have to charge anything to qualify for the next tax credit. I do want to, actually Model Y won't have to change anything. So I do want to see more ongoing ramping of production as well as more factories announced so that when current factories are maxed out in the next couple of years, there is supply building elsewhere to keep the growth happening. I think Tesla will announce new factories in the next couple of months. I mean, look, Tesla's US price reduction is so huge, it's going to put a great pressure on all the other car makers. Expect to see huge shakings in the US car market. Expect to see probably other price cuts by GM and other car makers who make electric cars. I also read some of your comments that you are ordering your Teslas now. One person said, wrote about saying, "Ordered mine tonight, kinda upset hearing China had cuts and we didn't. Great price and I pulled the trigger." Another person commented on the news of the new 2023 Tesla prices in the United States and wrote, "Absolutely wonderful. I'm going to buy Model 3 immediately." Have any of you decided to buy a Tesla today? Let us know in the comment section, friends. Others say wishing price cuts came to they wish price cuts came to Australia, saying that prices in Australia of Tesla vehicles are super expensive, like 69,000 Australian dollars for the Model 3. Another user named Metador55 commented saying, "I wonder what all the people think who bought a car in December. One tried to get a Model Y Performance and it was close to $80,000. Now it's about $60,000. People are going to be mad and happy, I guess." Well, as user Kuznak Bendeleev responded, if they bought it at that price, then they could afford it. They thought the price was right deal for them at that time, in that time period. Some of our viewers are seeing a difference between the reasons why Tesla cut 2020 car prices in China and why it did in the United States. The user Dual Transition has commented writing, "Tesla cut prices in China because demand had crashed in December. So the cuts were more to maintain sales than grow them, brought prices in line with a myriad of competitors with offering comparable to the Model 3 and Model Y. In the United States and Europe, a different story. This price cut should help to grow sales given the state of the competition. This gives a huge headache to Ford and Mustang Mach-E pricing and Volkswagen on its ID4 and etc. Not good for Tesla margins and profits though, so stock price may very well fall and reflect that." Today I think Tesla prices fell and I don't remember how much, but yeah, keep looking at those margins. They're going to tell you a lot. I don't own any stock, by the way. Joseph McKillem writes that it's a smart business practice from Tesla cutting prices for 2023. He says, "More cars will be sold immediately." I agree, and as Darren Chadha writes, Tesla margins may reduce somewhat, but higher turnover of capital will possibly result in at least maintaining the return on invested capital and return on equity. Friends, overall, Tesla observers see the massive price cuts in the United States and Canada as a very positive move by Tesla. I thought Deutsche Bank saw that way too. This move is expected to immediately increase Tesla's sales. These massive price cuts should also put Tesla way ahead of its competition. Tesla is going to put a lot of pressure on its competition. Tesla can afford to make smaller margins for a long time. However, Tesla's price cuts will greatly pressure GM and other electric vehicles in the United States, particularly GM, Volkswagen. Ford is somewhat safe until the Cybertruck comes to production and ramp ups the production. What are your thoughts about the Deutsche Bank statement? This is Armen Haryan from TorqueNews.com. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. We have good discussions there. And if you are here first time, please subscribe to this channel for daily Tesla news. God bless you and give us thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. Tweet it out. See you soon in our next report. And look forward for tomorrow's report. I have a very important news coverage about Tesla Giga Texas. There is a bigger story happening there. Don't miss it.